In this video, we're going to be talking about, should you start a business with family or friends? I'm connecting with a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs in the Growth Amplifier community, and that question comes up a lot. They see I've got a business partner, but they've also heard horror stories of some business partnerships that have gone bad. So in this video, we're going to be discussing, should you do this or not? And I'd love to hear your comments or thoughts weighing in the comments. So please put your comments in. Do you think you should start a business with family or friends? Now, I'm going to start this conversation by talking about some of the pros and cons. I'm not going to go over every single pro or every single con, just real quick over some highlights. Some of the pros are you have someone to support you. So whether something comes up in your business, whether it's health, whether it's a family situation, or just other life circumstances, you have someone that's there to support you. Running a business is like riding a roller coaster. There's a lot of highs, there are a lot of lows, there's twists, there's turns. So having someone there that has your back, that has a vested interest in the business's success is really valuable. Also, I'd hope you have a good relationship and good trust with your family and friends. That is a prerequisite before you should even consider working with them. But you typically have a deeper level of trust with family or friends. And so having someone that is not just a hired gun, but they are really connected with you, you share similar values, you share a similar vision, and you could trust them. So if you aren't able to come to the table, they're going to be doing the right thing on your benefit. That is really valuable as well. And then this is your family and friends. Ideally, you should start a business with somebody that you enjoy their company, enjoy working with them to some degree. If you don't enjoy connecting with them, then I wouldn't suggest working with them at all or starting a business with them. I'm going to say that that's something that you would have as a prerequisite. And so that would be a benefit, is you're working with people you like, you share values, you have the connections. So that's a good thing overall. But let's start talking about some of the cons to consider, because as you know, we just talked about it. The business can be very challenging. There's highs, there's lows, there's twists and turns. And that extra level of stress can be very daunting to a relationship. Imagine if you moved in with someone. You could be friends when you start, and then the stress of living together starts putting challenges on the relationships. And then before you know it, you're starting to argue, you're starting to fight, and then people have lost friendships over that. Same thing happens in marriage, right? People have an idea of what they're looking to do. And when they come into a marriage, they have an idea of what their future vision is, but then maybe people change and they don't see things eye to eye, and they start having differences. And with differences, you've got to compromise. You've got to sacrifice. If you know yourself and you're able to do that, and the person that you're considering on starting a business with has a track record of being able to compromise and work things out, maybe that's something that could work. But if you can't compromise and work things out early on, it's not going to get easier as you get further down the line. So being aware that those differences will only heighten when you get put in stressful situations. And fortunately, you got to be prepared that a majority of businesses will break up at some point in time, whether that's selling the business, or someone has a change of heart and wants to change their plans, or something happens and the business goes out of business. At some point in time, things will change from where they are now, and you've got to be able to think ahead, because that could potentially break up the business and break up a relationship. So it's important to think of all those different situations. And so those are some of the pros and the cons. And now I'm going to give some recommendations on what you should consider if this is something that you're considering for your business, if you decide to try this. Before I do that, go ahead and like and subscribe. That's highly appreciated. I'll just take a moment to do. We're looking to build our legion of amplifiers in the world that are doing great things, and your support is definitely appreciated. So the first thing I'd recommend, that if you decide partnering with anyone, really, friends, family, or someone else, is working to find people and partner with people that have complementing skills. So you want to find people that add a different value to the table. So if someone's really more of a visionary and they like thinking of a lot of different ideas, but they're not so much an integrator, where they'll actually be focused on getting those ideas into action, then you might want to look for someone that has those complementing skills, right? So the visionary might look to connect with people and partner with people that are integrators so that you have complementing skills. If you have someone that's really social and likes to talk and likes to build relationships, connecting with someone that maybe is more technical, they like looking at the analytics, getting more granular, it's building out some variety in your talent. So that's something to consider. If you get too many people with all the same skills, then you're missing important skill sets. Another suggestion would be to test the waters, like maybe having a smaller project that you work on or working on something together that starts testing your ability to work together, to communicate, to go through a little bit of challenge before you go all in and commit to a business endeavor. So just testing those waters. And if you're having trouble communicating it and working through situations, if there's conflicts in the beginning, chances are that's only going to magnify when things come into play down the line and things get more stressful. So don't assume anything. So I had another business partner at one point in time, and we made some assumptions when we first started working together of how things were going to go. Things changed along our journey, and it didn't quite work out the way anyone had anticipated. Surprise! But we initially had made a lot of agreements verbally, and we assumed that people might behave in a certain way if things changed. And you can't really assume anything. It's better to plan out, work with an attorney, and plan out what are different ways that this business may dissolve if you run into a situation where someone else is looking to get out of the business, or they have a change of heart, or there's a conflict going on. You want to make sure that you get that clear early on so that if that situation occurs, there's not a debate about it. It's much harder to do after the fact. It's like if you don't have a contract when you buy something, you're going to be out of luck if there's a dispute down the line. So don't assume anything. Make sure that you're really thinking through, working with a business attorney, all the different nuances of what could happen as you're going through your business. Along the lines, while you're doing that with the business attorney, it would be helpful to make an exit plan. Begin with the end in mind. It's one of the 7 habits of highly effective people. So, at some point in time, you're going to have an exit, whether that's selling the business or passing it on to someone else. You're not going to be able to run it forever. So beginning with the end in mind is really helpful, not only from a partnership point of view or working with other people, but just in business in general. A business should be focusing on building a business that can run without you. And if you plan and put the blueprints up first, you're going to be taking actions that will be more in alignment with what you're looking to achieve. I've got a little saying that I ask people, how many doghouses do you need to build in order to learn how to build a skyscraper? The answer is 0. You don't have to learn how to build a doghouse in order to build a skyscraper. You would start off by making a blueprint for a skyscraper. Building a doghouse will not get you there. So making an exit plan, beginning with the end in mind. If you want a skyscraper, start building and planning for a skyscraper. And then last but not least, be prepared to fail. Well, that sounds kind of negative. It's not negative. It's being prepared to fail. If you're going to go in a relationship, a business relationship with your family or friends, be prepared that it might not work out. And think through that ahead of time so that if that situation occurs, you can, again, not assume anything, that you'll have a plan that works for both parties. If you value your relationships, it's okay to think this is how we're going to work through this if we run into those challenges. So I think that's really important because a lot of people get into these partnerships with their friends and family, and it doesn't work out, and then they end up losing those relationships, and it's not a good thing. And there'll be a lot of people that will tell you is partnerships are bad, avoid them, they're the worst. And I think it's like anything else. It's like any relationship, whether you're dating someone and looking to get married, you're going to have to find someone that complements you and that you can get along with. And you might have to connect with people and get in partnerships that don't work out in order to figure out what will. But if you never tried, you'll never succeed. Now I've got my business partner on the screen, Mr. Manny Torres. We've been business partners for coming up on 10 years, and we've evolved through that time working together. We started off doing kind of like more small business marketing, and then we got into really personal branding and productization. And then the past few years, it's been more coaching and advisory and helping other advisors amplify their business. But it's been a rewarding experience to have someone that you can trust, that complements your style, that you can work together to accomplish things. So for me, although I did have a partnership that didn't work out, that did cause some challenges, it was, it's part of business. If you don't try, you never take the shot. You never can get the shot, right? You never can score if you never take the shot. Thank you, Wayne Gretzky, for letting me butcher your quote. All right, so that is my thought. I'd like to hear your thoughts on what you think partnerships. What do you think about partnerships? Put your thoughts in the comments. Do you think partnerships are a good thing? Do you think you should try them out? Or is it something you think they should be avoided at all costs? Put your comments in the comment section, and I'll love to hear from you. Thank you very much for your support, and have an amazing day. To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.